Today I'm creating and dedicating a dish to one of my best friends and one of my mentors, Sal D'Agata. So Sal, this one is for you. So for the first time ever on our channel, we are going to ad lib. No recipe, and I would say probably about 50% of the time when I make something at home, this is what I'm doing. I'm laying in bed or sitting on the couch and I'm thinking about, what am I going to make today? I could easily just go into a recipe book and grab something and say, this is what I'm going to make something familiar. Or most of the time I just try to create something, get my creative juices flowing, and that's what I like most about cooking. I like being creative. I like inventing new dishes. A lot of them start with a base of something very simple, and then I just add on to it. So today I'm going to take some tortellini that I bought and a few other ingredients, and my inspiration for what I'm going to attempt to make today comes from Sicily and comes from one of my best friends that I got to know in Sicily and was a mentor of mine. His name was Sal D'Agata, and he took me under his wing there, and he took my family in and treated us like we were family while we were there in Sicily for 3.5 years. What a man he was. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. So this is dedicated to him. My shout out this week is to Sal D'Agata. You know, trying to figure out, I'm sure you're out there trying to figure out, well, what's this got to do with the Navy? Well, Sal was our lead civilian cook at Naval Air Station Sigonella. So he managed all the civilian cooks, and I helped manage all the military cooks, and together we were a team there, and we fed off each other, and so many good things that I learned from him while I was there. So I'm dedicating this dish and this episode to Sal. So what are we gonna make? Okay, so I've got about a pound of tortellini, and you can use whatever tortellini you want. You want to use cheese tortellini, you want to use meat tortellini. This is a walnut and gorgonzola cheese tortellini. I've never even had it. I'm gonna try it. It's the way I roll. Try something I've never had before. So we're gonna take the tortellini, we're gonna boil that down, and this is fresh tortellini. So this is only going to take a few minutes once we get that in the pot. What else am I going to put in this dish? Well, one of the things that Sal would do with me, we would go and forage for wild asparagus. Now, these aren't wild asparagus, but you know, that's what I was thinking. When I was thinking about Sal, I was thinking of the days that we used to go foraging for asparagus. And I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to put asparagus in my dish today. What else am I going to put in there? Mushrooms. I love mushrooms. So it's gonna go in my dish. I got some nice Cotto ham that I found at a local store. And normally when you make a dish like I'm making today, a tortellini dish, and this really kind of derives from the very basic of a tortellini con panna, which is a tortellini in a cream sauce. And normally you would find in that cream sauce peas or ham, or peas and ham, and that's pretty much basic what you would get. But I'm jacking mine up. I'm going to other lengths with mine. So I got some nice Cotto ham, and I'm gonna throw in some nice spinach. Why am I throwing in spinach? I like it. And well, the store that I went to go shop at today didn't have any parsley. It's like, how can you not have parsley? Parsley, come on, parsley? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some green in there. I'm gonna throw some spinach. So what I'm gonna do, we're going to move over to the stove shortly. Oh, one other ingredient. I wanted to throw some dried tomatoes into my dish, but I couldn't find any. But I did come across this dried vegetable mix, which has some dried tomatoes, dried peppers, and dried eggplant. So I'm like, wow, now that's pretty cool. I've never seen this. I've never tried it. It's gonna go in my dish today. So we're gonna throw that in there as well. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do some prep. Once I get done with my prep, we're gonna move over to the stove. We'll get our sauce going, and then we'll have our tortellini going as well. And then we're gonna tie it all together, and it should come out fairly well. We'll find out though. So I'll be right back. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my asparagus, and I have probably about a third of a pound of asparagus. I'm going to take the tips. I'm going to take the next segment below the tips and one more segment. I'm going to throw the tougher parts of the asparagus out. I'm not going to use that because I really want a nice tender asparagus in here. So I'm going to take our asparagus, get that in our bowl. I'm going to take my mushrooms, and I'm going to do a rough slice on my mushrooms. And actually I'll put that right side up so I can put my mushrooms in there. And keep pulling along here. Sal was such a good friend. I mean, at one point in time, we're driving along the side road over by one of his orange orchards. And so we're driving along, and he pulls into his orchard. He goes to unlock the gate, and we go inside and showing me around a little bit, and he hands me a key. And I said, "What's the key for?" He goes, "It's the key to the gate." And he points over to one of his trees, his orange trees, and says, "Mike, that tree is yours. Whenever you want to come pick oranges, that tree is yours. You can come anytime." So, done with my mushrooms. Now I'm going to take my Cotto Ham, and I'm just going to kind of put a quarter on this. Maybe not even that. I think I'm going to leave it like this. And you know why? BYC, because you can. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to cut it down too small. And then I do have garlic here. I did forget to mention garlic. What's an Italian meal without garlic? So I'm going to go ahead and crush my garlic. Actually, what I'm going to do before I even chop it is I need to put a clean on my knife here. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so cleaned up my knife, switched out my board. Now I'm going to put a chop on my garlic, because like I said, what's an Italian meal without garlic? And the more the better. Keeps the vampires away. Yes, indeedy. Alright, so there's our rough chop. What we're going to do now is, actually I have one more thing I want to put a chop on, and that is my dried vegetables. And since I'm not dealing with meat now, I can go ahead and take some of these veggies out. Oh, they look so good. Wow. This is going to be really good. I'm liking what I'm smelling. So I'm just going to put just a rough chop on this. Some of these pieces are pretty small. I see there's some dried olives in there as well. So never had this before. So hey, we're going to find out how good it is. So there you go. I have all my ingredients prepped. And what we're going to do now is move on over to the stove, and we'll start our sauce. So we're here over at the stove top, and I have generously salted water going here for my tortellini. I'm going to go ahead, I've got a pan warming up. I'm going to throw some butter in it. I've got 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm also going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, if I don't drop that. Okay, so we're going to get this heated up a little bit. Swirl that around. I've got salt to the ready over here. I've got black pepper to the ready. I'm going to throw our garlic in here. We'll start sauteing our garlic. And I'm not going to take this too far on the garlic because I want to get my asparagus tips in here and get those sauteing. Smelling awesome. And we're just about ready for our asparagus tips. There we go. Get our asparagus going. Looking good. So we'll let this go for roughly a minute and a half. Cook this asparagus down a little bit. Then we're going to add, actually we'll probably go less than about 30 seconds. We're going to add our mushrooms in here to start the mushrooms going as well. And we'll get them in right about now. And I like a lot of mushrooms, as you can see. There we go. Spread those out a bit. Looking good. Nice and coated with some butter and the oil. Let this cook down just a bit. I'm thinking this is going to be about a minute and a half. So we'll let that go. Now I'm not going to add a lot of salt to this. And the reason why is that my water from my tortellini is well salted. And I'm not going to be rinsing and draining my tortellini. I'm actually going to be using my wired ladle to ladle out my tortellini, so they're not even going to get rinsed, so they're going to have some salt on them. So my salting will come right at the end if I need it. So this is looking pretty good. You notice I don't have the tortellini going yet, and that's only because that's not going to take long. That's going to take about 3 minutes. We've got about another, probably about another 30 seconds on my mushrooms. At this point in time, I'm going to add my spinach, and that'll work its way down. That'll wilt down nicely from the steam from the mushrooms and the garlic. And right about now is when I'm going to go ahead and put my tortellini in. Okay, so we're getting my tortellini in the water now. A little more to go. The base of my sauce is looking good. I'm going to throw in my dried tomatoes and eggplant, peppers, and right about now I'm going to go ahead and give it some pepper. Again, we're not going to do any salt. And I like to be generous with my pepper. And now I'm going to add probably about 2 cups of heavy whipping cream to this for my panna. Give this a stir. And we're going to let this heat up a bit. Bring that to a simmer. And you're probably saying, oh, where's the ham? Well, here comes the cotto. Get that in there. Wow, this alone is looking outstanding. I might need some more pepper. Salt at the standby. Thickness looks good. One trick that I use if I want to thicken my panna is I'll have a egg yolk close by, and if I need to thicken it up, I'll just throw an egg yolk in here. But this is looking like I'm not going to have to do anything to it. Well, let's hope. It's looking good. This is coming up to a simmer, and once, actually it's coming up to just below boil, I'm going to hit it down and drop it down to medium to low heat. Tortellinis are looking good. And I'm going to swing over here and grab a spoon for tasting real quick just to see where we're at. Oh Lord, definitely doesn't need any salt. All right, so we're doing really well here. I'm going to drop this heat down just a little bit more. We don't need any salt. I do want a little bit more pepper. And if my wife wasn't going to be eating this, I'd probably be throwing a pinch of red pepper in here as well, crushed red pepper. A little spice to it, but got to take care of the honey. She doesn't like it spicy, so we're not going there. Wow, that's looking good. It's smelling good. And I think we're almost there with our tortellinis. Oh yeah. Another 20 seconds or so. We're going to be looking good. As you can see, this is a very fast, quick recipe. Make sure you have all your ingredients ready to go, all your utensils ready to go. You don't want to be caught behind on any one item. 10 seconds, and we're going to start ladling this straight over. I can go ahead and kick the heat off. I don't know, Lori, does it feel like it's making you hungry? Yes, no, maybe so?
Maybe so.
Maybe so. Do they make that in Jersey?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah? Where in Jersey? Because I want to go, because I don't know, all over. Okay, so I'm going to drain these right into my sauce. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to fold this in and finish off that last few seconds of cooking time, that tortellini right in this sauce. Then we're going to plate it up and we're going to give it a try. All right, so here we are. Finished product. It's smelling good. It looks good. I know you want some. Come on now. I know you do. So, in honor of Sal, I'm going to call this, what am I going to call it? Tortellini D'Agata. In memory of Sal. So, one thing left to do with this, and that's to give it a try. So I'm going to try to get a piece of mushroom, some spinach, pieces of ham. Try to get it all together in one scoop. Alrighty, here we go. It's a winner. I can't even describe it. It's really, really good. Better than what I actually thought it would come out. And I actually kind of like the walnut gorgonzola tortellini. It has a really nice flavor. I've never had it before. See, you gotta try everything. I would never think of doing that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Goes to show a little imagination, a little thought, a little inspiration. You can do just about anything. That's easily a $25, $30 meal at some fancy Italian restaurant somewhere. So, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for being with us.